All right, Shalom. First, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Chakodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. As you can see on the screen here, this is breaking news. Okay, it says Italy closes theaters, cinemas, museums across the country as COVID-19 outbreak continues to spread, according to a decree signed by Prime Minister Giuseppe Conti. All right, and I'm gonna click on here to pull up one of these articles. Let's do this one here on the Guardian. All right, hey man, because this and it's funny too. We're in the Passover. All right, the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Okay, and basically the Lord is doing His thing, man. All right, the Most High is not playing. He's not playing with this place, man. And just like He did in ancient Egypt, which I'm gonna get a couple precepts on that. All right, and that night when the Lord sent the death angel, which was Yahushai, okay, to go out there and put them firstborns to death. All right, you're gonna have another mass death in this Egypt, right? But it's not gonna be just the firstborns. All right, and not all Israel is gonna survive that. Okay, because here it is on the night of the Passover. How many Israelites who are supposed to be keeping the Passover were keeping it? Some damn near a lot of Israelites don't even know. All right, that such a thing exists. All right, they're at clubs, clubbing, partying, doing things of the world. All right, and that shows you how merciful the Lord is, because hey, we were all like that at one point. You know, on the day when we were supposed to keep the Passover prior to coming into the truth, we were out there doing regular things because we didn't even know. All right, but it shows you how merciful the Lord is, because the scriptures say, all right, that you're supposed to be cut off. All right, Slaki, give me 1 second. All right, Salakia. Yeah. So anyway, so we didn't even know. All right, we didn't even know that we were supposed to be partaking in this holy day. But hey, the Lord is definitely doing His thing, man. And Lord willing, this be the last Passover that we have to keep here in Babylon. All right, because we see what the Lord is doing, and that's why I have this article here. All right, and Italy is getting hit hard, man. All right, Italy is getting hit hard. Okay, but it's not gonna compare to what's about to hit this place, America, because Babylon, the judgment for Babylon, all right, is written all over the scriptures, man. Okay, so everybody's getting their ass whooping, and the Lord is saving the best for last. So let's read a little bit of this. It says, coronavirus live updates. Italian Prime Minister signs lockdown decree affecting millions in North. All right. Now, I believe they said it was 16 million people, if I'm not mistaken. That's a lot of people, man. It says Italy seals off northern region. U.S. authorities say man in his 50s had no obvious contact with infection. 2 killed in China quarantine hotel collapse. All right, so it says U.S. Death rises to 19 as New York declares state of emergency. Yeah, the Governor Cuomo declared a state of emergency today in New York. Hey, Lord willing, they shut down schools, man, because I ain't trying to go to school. But hey, nonetheless, we're getting to that point, man. All right, we're getting there. It says coronavirus quarantine hotel in China collapses, trapping dozens. So they were using a certain hotel as a quarantine for people who have the virus. And you know that hotel probably wasn't in the best condition. All right, and it said what? It collapsed, man. All right. It says and think about it, right? These people who have the virus, your lives probably are not priority, for whoever's supposed to come there to deliver you from this being trapped. Okay, because they're like, you got the virus anyway. It says thousands held on cruise ship off U.S. West Coast as scientists say this is now a pandemic. All right. If I can, Listen to this. If I catch the coronavirus, I'm screwed. Gig economy workers can't afford to be ill. That's funny, man. All right, so let's read this. It says, some keen eyes have noticed discrepancies in the advice on the World Health Organization website about how not to treat COVID-19. Okay, interesting. It says in the at World Health Organization guide on hashtag coronavirus, it is initially mentioned. Oh, Slakia. It initially mentioned people should not take traditional herb remedies as a measure. It was mentioned in the French, Arabic, Russian versions, but not the Chinese one. But now the point was also removed from English version. Okay. It says getting attention on hashtag China social media. Chinese pointing out at who appears to have different advice in English versus Chinese about traditional herbal medicine. In English, it is deemed not effective against coronavirus, not so in Chinese. Oh, I see what's going on. Interesting. It says what I found is even more odd. An external server at who link includes traditional medicine as not effective against coronavirus. When I tap on the exact same link on the China hashtag China internet, that line in English disappears. No matter the server in Chinese, the advice doesn't change. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. So people are now onto the World Health Organization, all right, because they're saying, well, we got things that aren't adding up. You're saying on one hand that these natural herbal remedies don't work, but then on the Chinese site, that's not what it's saying. When you click on that, automatically that advice disappears. All right. And what people are gonna come to find out when it's too late, of course, is that this World Health Organization doesn't care about you. They don't care about you, man. They're all a part of this agenda, all right, to forward and acquire this new world order, man. All right, and these are all updates here. It says 93 new cases 5 hours ago, 93 new cases in South Korea on late Saturday, another cruise ship being attacked or being tracked by U.S. authorities. Infected man in Tasmania went to work. And look, we keep saying this, man, but listen, there's a reason they started telling people to self quarantine. They know people are not going to self quarantine. They know it's not effective, but they need a measure to start off. They can't just hit you right off the bat with, oh, we're going to mandatorily quarantine you. It's going to be too much. So they're going to say, we're going to self quarantine you. We're going to tell you to self quarantine, knowing you're not going to do it. But it gives them a reason to up the measures, because then they can say, hey, we tried telling them to self quarantine and they didn't do it. They broke quarantine. Therefore, now we're having to mandatorily, with lethal force, if necessary, make them not break quarantine. It says Italian Prime Minister signs decree for lockdown. Italy cancels leave for healthcare workers. Oh wow! So oh boy. North Korea releases 3,600 people quarantined over coronavirus. What? Oh boy. All right, so let's read this. It says tens of millions of students are stuck at home because their schools have been closed due to the virus spread. Many of them are doing online lessons run by their schools, and on this unprecedented mass scale, there are huge variety of new technologies and apps being used. It says, and according to this report, students in Wuhan have found a way to exploit one. The word from Wuhan, schools are suspended until further notice, with many workplaces also shut. Notoriously absent Chinese fathers have been forced to stay home and entertain their children. Video clips of life under quarantine is trending on TikTok. Children were presumably glad to be off school until, that is, an app called Ding Talk was introduced. Students are meant to sign in and join their class for online lessons. Teachers use the app to set homework. Somehow, the little brats worked out that if enough users gave the app a 1-star review, it would get booted. Oh, wow. Hey, that's funny, man. But let's read on the actual news here. It says a 12th diagnosis has been confirmed in the Australian state of Victoria in a woman from Indonesia aged in her 50s, health authorities have said. I want some more information on the Italy one. So you know what? Let me look at this. Okay, let's do. What was this? 3 days ago? Okay. No, I just read this. Slovakia. All right, let's see. Italy on lockdown, coronavirus. Nice. All right. 23 hours ago. All right, 2 hours ago. It says Venice, Milan on lockdown as Italy announces sweeping quarantine. It says the decree restricts anyone from leaving or entering designated red zones except for undeferrable work needs or emergency situations starting Sunday, which is tomorrow. All right, so they're putting them what? Italy prepares to lock down a region of 10 million over coronavirus outbreak. So you see the the efforts they're taking, man. All right, let me see this video. How long this video is?
Nobody wants to pay for things that they don't use. It's time to say bye to the bundle. Now, you can't break the bundle.
All right, I'm not trying to watch this commercial, so I'll just read it. It says the Italian government on Sunday took the most drastic measures yet to try and stop the rapid spread of the new coronavirus, closing off the entire Lombardy region in the north, including Milan and more than a dozen other provinces. The announcement came after Italy saw its biggest daily increase in coronavirus cases since an outbreak erupted there last month. In only a month, look at how much damage this virus has been able to cause. In only 1 month. It says the number of cases throughout Italy is now at 5,883, with close to half that number, 2,651, hospitalized. More than 230 have died from COVID-19, the disease caused by coronavirus. It says, we want to protect the health of all citizens, Kant said. Conti, I guess, we are aware that this will create unease and that these measures will be a sacrifice, big and small. But this is the time to be responsible. See, so they're taking these measures, all right, because they want to do their best to contain it. But the sad news is this virus is past containment. All right, it's past containment, man. It says Sunday's decree restricts anyone from leaving or entering designated red zones except for undeferrable work needs or emergency situations, starting Sunday through at least April 3rd, according to Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte. So they're on lockdown, man. All right. And as it gets worse, they're going to declare a medical martial law, man. All right, they're gonna declare that martial law, man. They're gonna quarantine cities. New York is looking like it's about to be on that list. All right, New York is looking like it's about to be put on lockdown. Okay, so don't be surprised if they do that, man. And things are gonna get bad, man. All right, things are gonna get. If you're in a certain city and they lock it down, you're not getting out because why would they let you out? They're locking it down so you don't they don't know who exactly has it within the city and they don't want it to spread to other cities. That's why they're trying to quote unquote contain it. All right. It says it applies to some 10 million residents in the Lombardy and other 6 million in provinces. So that's what 16 million throughout the country, including Venice, Parma, and Modena. Residents everywhere are instructed to avoid public gatherings, cinemas, so no movie theaters. I just said that theaters, dance schools, bingo halls, and pubs will also be closed. All right. Restaurants will be allowed to remain open only if they can keep a 1 meter distance among customers. Look at the precautions and the measures they're taking, man. All right. The grinding is ceasing, and everything is coming to a screeching halt. All right. No more movie theaters. The things you know, that means what? Your clubs are going to be closed. All right. Your schools are going to be closed. The places you go to for fun is all gonna come to a stop, man. All right. And then comes the pain. Okay. They take away your pleasures, and then they take away your necessities, and then they squeeze you. All right. This is the pain the Lord is bringing, man. All right. It says shutting down the city could have a devastating impact on local businesses, because it definitely can. Because if they shut down public transportation, how are you going to get to work? If you're not working, that's hurting the economy, man. It says, and how are you going to pay your bills? Rent is still going to be due. Italy is the European Union's third largest economy, but tourism officials are projecting 32 million fewer foreign visitors and a loss of $8.1 billion in the second quarter alone. Foreign airlines are canceling flights to Milan, and U.S. Vice President Mike Pence said the U.S. is screening all passengers from flights originating in Italy and other countries with coronavirus outbreaks. All right. Okay, I'll finish it off. In the United States, 19 people have died from COVID-19, 16 in Washington State, 2 in Florida, and 1 in California. According across the country, the overall number of cases has risen to 395. Whoa! In the U.S., 395. That number is rising quick, man. Next thing you know, 500. 600, 1,000, 10,000, 5,000, 10,000. And you think they're just going to sit there and let everything run smoothly? No, that's when cities get locked down. That's when chaos starts to break forth. All right. All right. It says, with more being added every day globally, and this stock market is through. All right. This economy is done. This stock market is through, is on its way out, man. Globally, coronavirus has been reported in more than 80 countries and sickened more than 100,000 people, with the majority of cases in mainland China, where the virus originated. More than 3,500 people have died since January. Wow. Okay. And that's only what, 3 months? So now let's get this. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 13. See. No, not 13. Salakia. 15. I don't know why I was in 13. All right, 15 verse 17, just getting to the point. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. And this is a precept we're going to be bringing out a lot, man. Okay, because that's the time we're in. We're in the time of 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter, 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter, 2nd Ezra, the 5th chapter. All right, Isaiah 13. Okay, Daniel 12 and 1, Jeremiah 30 and 7. That's the time we're in, man. All right, shalom. Shalom to those watching. So let's get into this real quick, man, because remember, we in the night of the Passover, and this is what took place and what's about to take place on a whole nother level. All right, so this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17, verse 1. It says, for great are thy judgments and cannot be expressed, therefore unnurtured souls have erred. It says, for when unrighteous men thought to oppress the holy nation, who is the holy nation? The Israelites. All right. And who are those unrighteous men? The Egyptians. It says, they being shut up in their houses, the prisoners of darkness and fettered with bonds of a long night. All right. Lay there exiled from the eternal providence. For while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions. All right. And what's an apparition? An apparition is a strange and scary, like a ghost or a spirit. All right. It says, for neither might the corner that held them keep them from fear. So you could be cowering in a corner, you hiding somewhere. This ain't going. It was bad, man. It says, but noises as of waters falling down sounded about them. Imagine that. You just hearing that out of nowhere, just like a tsunami or like a waterfall, just and it's dark too. It says, and sad visions appeared unto them with heavy countenances. Like they show you in the movies, you see the little girl wearing all white, long ass hair covering her face, and she just opens her eyes and looks at you, and then and you blink and she's standing right in front of you. That kind of crazy, scary stuff, man. Okay. Next thing you know, she got a knife in her hand. She's all bloodied up. You know, imagine seeing something like that. It's all dark around you. Every 2 seconds you feel like somebody's like grabbing onto your shoulder. You're feeling the thick darkness, and then you're just seeing flashes of lights. All right, and with each flash, you see an apparition, either a demon with like 3 heads. All right, all right, or a scary ass woman, like a nun or something like that. Half dead, half undead. And then if one flash you see her on the corner, the next flash she's standing right next to you. That's something you could drop dead for out of fear of, man. It says no power of the fire might give them light, so it was that dark, man. You could have your phone like this and you still wouldn't see. It says neither could the bright flames of the stars endure to lighten that horrible night. All right, because at night, even if all the city lights were off, you still have light from the heavens, from the stars and the moon. But it was so dark that wasn't happening, man. That light from the heavens couldn't even pierce through that thick darkness, man, that was going on in Egypt. It says only there appeared unto them a fire kindled of itself. All right, that means you just there and the fire just comes on. And we're talking about scary freak level on some Belshazzar time.
Seen nothing like this. Hospitals overwhelmed, deaths rising fast, with hundreds of new infections and dozens of new deaths every day. Italy has now replaced China as the epicenter health experts are most worried about. The scientist who identified the Italian strain says they're fighting a fast-moving enemy.
Viruses are always changing.
So each strain of the virus is changing all the time.
I think so, that we are facing a real emergency.
And tonight, emergency measures. The Italian government preparing to lock down a region of 10 million people, including Milan, Italy's business center, where the streets were quiet today. No one would be allowed to leave or enter for weeks. Pope Francis, who was coughing earlier this week with a cold, will lead Sunday prayers tomorrow, not from this balcony, but by video link. At a US military base in Naples, a junior officer became the first US serviceman in Europe to test positive for the virus. Across the world, there are now more than 105,000 cases of the virus in at least 95 countries, with more than 3,500 deaths. In China, dozens of people who'd been quarantined in a hotel were buried when the building collapsed. More than 30, including children, were pulled out, but scores are still trapped. It's a global battle against a virus spreading fast. Bill Neely, NBC News, Milan.
Okay. That's interesting right there. I was interrupted, but hey, that was some good information that came out from that video. And notice he said the strain is changing every single time. And that shows you this is a plague from the Lord, man. There's no fighting this. There's no going about it. This is the will of the Lord. That's why it's happening, man. All right, so let's finish on in here. A fire kindled of itself, very dreadful. For being much terrified, they thought the things which they saw to be worse than the sight they saw not. Oh boy, So that means the things that they were witnessing, all right, was worse than anything they can imagine, man. All right, anything that they heard, or they thought they saw. No, imagine being in that position, man. It's so dark. All right, you're so scared. Okay, and you're constantly just being plagued with demons and apparitions and sounds of death all around you, a thick darkness that you can feel. That's why people fear the dark, man. Okay, it says, as for the illusions of art magic, they were put down, and their vaunting in wisdom was reproved with disgrace. For they that promised to drive away terrors and troubles from a sick soul were sick themselves of fear worthy worthy to be laughed at. Meaning they were shaking, they were quaking, man. All right, shaking, man. Oh shit, what's that? Oh, they jumping on each other like, yo, what's going on? All right, and here it is. These are the same people who are supposed to be magicians and the soothsayers and all of that, and they shook up, man. Because the Lord showed them, look, man, you ain't about to. Who the hell you think you are? I created all these different things. That's why they call him a terrible power, man. Al-Shadia, all right, a terrible demon-like power, man. Because the Most High can be a, oh boy, he can put that hell of a scary, fearful spirit, all right, out there if he so pleases, and he's about to, all right. It says, for though no terrible thing did fear them, yet being scared with beasts that pass by and hissing of serpents. Here it is. You in a corner somewhere and you feel like a you just hear, you probably feel like a snake like going over your feet, or you hearing like a wild, like you hearing like a lion's roar. That's not you. Like it's like just imagine hearing steps getting closer and closer to you, and you hearing the, when a dog is growling and it's getting closer to you, and the sound is getting louder and louder, and you wondering if at any second there's something and vicious animals about to jump and bite you and rip your limbs apart. Imagine what that fear, that anxiety is gonna do to you. This is what the Egyptians were going through, man. Okay, on the night of the Passover. And the Lord said that the time we're coming into now is not going to compare to this. So really imagine how bad the Lord is about to hit this place, man. All right. It says, but check this out. They died for fear. So they were dropping dead, catching heart attacks. Okay. It says, denying that they saw the air, which could of no side be avoided. Okay. So it's not like you're not gonna close your eyes or turn this way and think you good. Nah, it was scary, man. You might go and go like this into a corner of a wall, and a demon might pop its face out the wall and look at you face to face like, hey, what's up? Or boo. So you can imagine Jake was probably hearing them Egyptians screaming, all right, yelling, oh shit, all right, screaming and all that, probably in their native tongue, okay, calling upon all the gods they could call on, and that put fear in Jake as well, because they're like, damn, like, you can only imagine how bad it is out there, all right. Oh boy, hey, the most high is he's about to show you why he was called a terrible demon-like power. All right, it says, for wickedness condemned by their own witness is very timorous, and being pressed with conscience always forecasteth grievous things. For fear is nothing else but a betrayal of the succors which reason offereth. Yeah, because people, for example, right, when let's say you walk in, all right, and the lights go out and you hear a sound. Depending on what the sound is, that might give you an estimate of how scared you're gonna be, right? If you hear footsteps or you hear a trash can, your reasoning is, oh, all right, it's probably just a raccoon, or somebody probably just kicked the trash can. But hear a sound of like a wild animal that you've never heard before. At that point, your reasoning goes out the window and your fear takes over, because you cannot process what that could possibly be, because you've never encountered anything like that. You've never heard a scream, all right, or a growl so vicious before. You don't even know what kind of animal to match that sound to. So now you're wondering, is this like some monster? Like, what is this? And that wondering is what is throwing out your reasoning. And once your reasoning goes out the way, all that's left is fear. Okay? When people don't fear what they know, but people fear the unknown because they can't reason. They don't understand. All right? The comfort and stability that knowing offers, they won't have that. So they fear. All right? Oh boy. It says, and the expectation from within being less, counteth the ignorance more than the cause which bringeth the torment. Let me see if there's more. Oh, okay. Verse 14. But they sleeping the same that night, they sleeping the same sleep that night, which was indeed intolerable, and which came upon them out of the bottoms of inevitable hell. It ain't talking about the fiery pits of Hades that demons just crawled out of, because that don't exist. All right. It says, were partly vexed with monstrous apparitions. That means three-headed beasts. You know, seeing some wild, you know what I mean, like one eye hanging out with a string, some Freddy Krueger mixed with, you know, some demonic stuff, man. A half minotaur, half serpent, you know, like some scary ass beast you've never seen before. Freaking big ass horns, all right, teeth the size of razors, you know, looking like it's about it. It's like you just want to drop dead just looking at it. All right, that's what they were being vexed and plagued with, man. It says, and partly fainted because they couldn't handle it, man. It says there your body can only handle so much fear before it shuts down. All right. It says their heart failing them for a sudden fear and not looked for came upon them. They didn't expect that. All right. These average people, they don't expect to be put in a situation like that. A lot of them don't even think on a spiritual level. So let them get plagued by demons, actual demons. You know, let a demon grab you and throw you through a room into another room, and you can't see what's going on. You know, man. It says verse 16. So then when whosoever there fell down was straitly kept, shut up in a prison without iron bars. It says, let me see if this is gonna go more into what I want or not. Oh boy. Yeah, okay. Verse 17. For whether he were husbandman or shepherd or a laborer in the field, he was overtaken and then endured that necessity which could not be avoided. For they were all bound with one chain of darkness. All right. So it doesn't matter who you were, where you were, if you were not an Israelite, you were caught up in that. It says whether it were a whistling wind or a melodious noise of birds among the spreading of branches, or a pleasing fall of water running violently. You know, now you know when you watch these scary movies, right? You have dude be walking in the forest. It's dark. You know, he got a flashlight, but he's shaking so much he can't even hold it right. You know, and he hears the in the grasses and stuff like that. You know, and next thing you know, the owl does a cuckoo. He's like, oh, what's that? What's that? You know, he's stressed. You don't know what to. He's looking all over the place. You know, here it is. He goes from walking to jogging to running to sprinting. You know, it says, or a terrible sound of stones cast down. All right. So imagine that sound. It sounds like a building is breaking down next to you. Like you. It sounds so deceiving that you feel like a building's about to fall on you. You know, it says, or a running that could not be seen of skipping beasts. All right, you might hear horse paws. You know, or you might hear what sounds like a wild pack of wolves surrounding you. Oh, oh, oh. And then, you know, you just hear and they walk in next to you. You probably feel some breathing down your neck. You know, you got the hairs on the back of your neck all standing up. And the thing is, you can't escape it. All right. It says, or a roaring voice of most savage wild beasts. All right. Lions, tigers, you know, leopards, you know, alligators, you know, whatever scares you. Okay. You hearing that, man? Some demonic voices. You know, you probably hearing the you know, demonic laughs. You know, you probably feel like some fingers crawling over your shoulders, like trying to grab you and pull you. Yo, imagine that, man, in the dark. That's the thing. It's not even in the light. It's in the dark. So it makes it much worse. All right. It says, or a rebounding echo from the hollow mountains. You know? Oh, boy. These things made them to swoon for fear. Let's look up the word swoon. right? Swoon. Listen to this. Swoon. Faint from extreme emotion. An occurrence of fainting. All right. So that what's that emotion that they felt? The scripture just said it. They swooned for what? For fear. So they fainted, they passed out. Some of them dropped dead over how scary it was. Now, keep in mind, back then, dealing with witchcraft and magic and stuff, it was common. So it wasn't like, like you drop dead just because somebody turned a rod into a snake. So they were already familiar with this with spiritual things, and knowing that the world wasn't like just a carnal world, but there was a spiritual aspect towards it. So they had some sort of fear tolerance towards spiritual entities compared to this society now. People don't even believe in the spirit now. But even if those people who had a tolerance to the spirit, okay, were able to pass out for fear, then imagine how scary it was, man. See, something that if you were to show somebody now, let's say you would turn a stick into a snake, somebody probably pass out now. But back then they were like, okay, all right, you just turned a stick into a snake. See, so they could tolerate certain things, they could see certain things and not be shook up. And if you were to show those same things to people now, they piss on themselves. So now really comprehend that if those people who could tolerate, all right, something that will make you drop dead now were dropping dead, if those people were dropping dead for fear, then it must have been some real bad stuff, man. Okay, it must have been so bad that when the Lord brings it here, these people ain't gonna make it. They're not gonna, because it's not gonna be just to scare you. They're gonna be getting to work, man. They are going to be getting to work. Remember, the Lord is bringing judgment to destroy, man. That death angel, the destroyer, he is there to destroy. So these wild beasts, these most savage beasts that you're gonna be hearing them growling, and then they're drooling. They're not just gonna be doing that just to scare you. No, they gonna get to work on you. All right. It says, for the whole world shined with clear light, and none were hindered in their labor. And this is talking about Israel. All right, for Israelites, man. Over them only was spread a heavy night, which is talking about the Egyptians, an image of that darkness which should afterwards receive them, but yet were they unto themselves more grievous than the darkness. Now, I'm gonna actually get one more precept, all right, before I close it out. All right, going into the night when the Lord sent that death angel. Let's get it real quick. It says, oh boy. Oh man, this is good. I don't even know where to start. All right, I'll start at verse 10. It says, but on the all right, but verse 10, but on the other side there sounded an ill according cry of the enemies, and a lamentable noise. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18, verse 10. And a lamentable noise was carried abroad for the children that were bewailed. And this is talking about the Egyptians, because remember, their firstborns were killed. It says the master and the servant were punished after one manner. So if you were Pharaoh or you were a servant in Pharaoh's house, if Pharaoh's firstborn died, your firstborn died. It says, and like as the king, so suffered the common person, like I just said. So they all together had innumerable dead with one kind of death. All right. So the cause of death was the same for them all. Neither were the living sufficient to bury them, for in one moment the noblest offspring of them was destroyed. For whereas they would not believe anything by reason of the enchantments upon the destruction of the firstborn, they acknowledged this people to be the sons of God. And that's why they let them go. And that's why Pharaoh was like, yo, get out of here. Get to go and tell the Lord to bless me too. All right. It says, for while all things were in quiet silence, and that night was in the midst of her swift course, thine almighty word. Who's the word? John 1:1. All right. All on down, I think 1:14, it tells you the word was made manifest, and the word was Yahushai. So thine almighty word is who? Yahushai. It says, leaped down from heaven out of thy royal throne as a fierce man of war, into the midst of a land of destruction. And that's why when you read in Exodus 12, it says what? The destroyer. Okay, that's another title for Yahushua, because this death angel, this almighty word that leaped down, is that death angel that killed all the firstborns, and that's Yahushua. We're gonna read it. Verse 16, and brought thine unfeigned commandments as a sharp sword, and standing up filled all things with death. And it touched the heaven, but it stood upon the earth. All right. You know what? Let me read like 2 more verses. It says, then suddenly visions of horrible dreams troubled them sore, and terrors came upon them unlooked for. So they're not expecting this, man. All right. It says, and one thrown here and another there, half dead, showed the cause of his death. Ooh. You know, so imagine you see somebody just gets thrown across the room, you know, and half their body is over here. Somebody's fainted, you know, and you seeing, like, for example, you seeing somebody, you know, you turn around and there's a dead body laying next to you, and you look at the way the person died, and you just see like a slash across their neck, you know, of some deep claws, man, just slash their neck, and they just like, you know, they just dead in the corner somewhere, man. Oh boy. It says, verse 19, for the dreams that troubled them did foreshow this, lest they should perish and not know why they were afflicted. All right. So you got to understand that because you were put in affliction on Israel, this would happen to you. But you know what's going to happen this time in this Israel? It's going to be not only on these modern day Egyptians and these heathens, but 2/3 of our people as well, man. Y'all going to go through this. And the only people who are going to be exempt are the elect. Okay. So we see how the Lord is setting up that destruction with this whole coronavirus. All right. He's having a sweep through. Okay. Sweep through. All right. And cause this death and destruction. And it's going to get worse. Once that chaos sinks in, it won't be just a carnal chaos. You'll see, there'll be demons lurking out here, man. Death angels are going to be out here. Demons are going to be out here. Wild animals are going to be let loose. All right. When it says, and matter of fact, I'll close it with this. All right. When it says a time like never before, the scriptures mean that. Okay. What am I trying to get? Jeremiah 30, verse 7. Shalom, shalom. Let me see what brothers got on here. Yep, medical martial law incoming. Yeah. Measure thou the time diligently. Luke 21 and 26. Men's heart failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. That's what's going to happen. You start seeing the destruction and the hell and the violence the Lord is going to bring, and the massive death. People's hearts are not going to be able to take that. These old people, they can't handle that. All right. You have certain people who they get scared over the littlest things. All right. God, WT. Oh man. Hey man, these people are gonna learn, man. They're gonna find out the hard way, man. Okay, they're gonna find out the hard way. Yep, that's right. 144, they shall bow down to the slaughter 3, terrors on every side. Yep, that's what's gonna happen. Now that's what's gonna make it worse. You know, on every side. You turn here, there's death. You turn here, there's terrors. You turn behind you, it's just there's no way to escape. All right, there's no way to escape, man. It says 19 dead due to coronavirus now in the U.S. More stores. Yep, exactly. That's what's happening, man. So, now, matter of fact, let me read the scripture real quick. Jeremiah 30, verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. So that means everything I just read about what happened back in ancient Egypt, that's not going to compare to what's going to happen now. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And so, like back then, Israel was saved as a nation. This time is only going to be the elect. All right. And this hell, look, man, this virus that's already set in. All right. It's set in, and it's spreading its feet and its wings, and the CDC is allowing them, all right, to go out there and infect as much people as possible before they come out and give you the real numbers, so that through your fear, they can gain that control they're looking for, man. All right, it's called problem, reaction, solution. But in order to get the desired reaction they want, they have to cause a good enough problem, all right, for them to bring that solution, man. So keep an eye out, all right, on the news, all right, and the things that they're saying, man, because, hey, a lot of these things aren't adding up, but you know what? And by these things, I mean the things they're telling you are not adding up. But through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, we know the end goal, and we know that ultimately the Lord is going to deliver us. All right, so we have nothing to fear. Okay, hey, and you know, all we got to do now is just ride it out, man. All right, we're this close to the kingdom. We're this close to being delivered. Okay, so hey, don't don't do anything that's going to jeopardize your salvation, man. Don't even spiritually breathe wrong. All right, stay on the good side of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, because the time is coming. All right, when you're going to be very glad that you knew this truth, man, and that you stuck with the Lord. Okay, because He's going to stick with you. He's going to provide for you, and He's going to protect you in those times, man. All right. So all the things that I read, we don't have to fear that. All right, because the Most High is going to protect us and deliver us, man. Keep in mind, Jacob's trouble is not for the destruction of the elect, okay, but the destruction of the 2/3 instead. Okay, so I'm gonna end it here. Lord's willing, this was edifying unto the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakodash. Pray for a few days and stay in the spirit, man. Shalom.